So here we go to 5 red lights for the sprint here. The lights are off, and we got a few jump starts there at the back of the grid, but it's lights out and away we go. And I think Tonio did get a pretty good start. You can see Supply there in the background trying to make up from that. Powers left the session as they all come through the first corner relatively unscathed. I think Jay Snowy and Supply going to go side by side into turn 2. And it looks like Jay Snowy was just able to get that. Tano having a look down the inside of Supply Raptor as we go through the loop and into Aintree. Karakimo is going to try and get past Salagi. And there's a bit of contact there. And Supra, Karakimo, sorry, has been sent spinning to the back there. And I think Salagi got caused in that contact as well. We'll look up at the front as we see Supply Raptor making a move on Tano. Tano now with the inside coming through Luffield. And I think Supply Raptor is just going to be able to hold position through Woodcut. Matthew being able to promote themselves into P5 with Choke in P6, going side by side with Reese going through Cops. And I think that was a bit of a wise decision there for Reese to stay behind. But with that, he's going to be able to get the switch back. And there is a spin there for Raven in the background, coming through Cops, not what he would have wanted. And Choke in P7 now. Supra being able to get past Mighty King. Mighty King off the track there. And I think he just has to slow them behind in P10. And I think Remote Banjo is also going to have a look on this AlphaTauri as well as we go into Stowe. And he is going to have that inside and legal spaces left. And Remote Banjo is still going to try and fight this. But then we'll have to settle in behind. But as we look up at the top there, Jay Snowy's been able to get past Tony, I believe, into Stowe. And Jay Snowy will now lead the British Grand Prix, or the British Grand Prix Sprint, if I should say. Raven has retired. I didn't see that. So he's obviously given up. But now that I've got Alec in, we can now focus in on the action. Cam, I think, there has been able to get past Remote Banjo, still going side by side with the Alpine. And they're going to go side by side down the Wellington Straight. And who is going to be able to be the latest on the brakes? Is it going to be Cam or is it going to be Remote Banjo? And there's more contact there, and that is the Red Bull of Alec. I think just rejoining into the session, and he has caused a bit of contact with the Mercedes. Let's look up at the front as there might be a move being made here as Tonio Wright goes down the inside of the Haas. Side by side. Antonio is indeed passed into Stowe. And there's been a spin there for Matthew May out of Luffield. And that is a pretty dangerous area, but Matthew May now being able to continue, and he spun it again into the barrier. But let's see, going down the hangar straight right now. Supply burning absolutely everything with DRS enabled, and he is going to pull alongside Tonio. I don't think Jay Snowy, though, is close enough. Supply makes the move into the lead of the sprint, and I think he's absolutely done it on the final lap as he comes through Vale Line Club. And Supply Raptor, the reserve for Haas, has absolutely made his mark in Division 1 by winning the sprint race. Tonio will have to settle for P2. Jay Snowy, the other Haas, in P3. Tano will have to finish in P4, with Techevi in P5, Reese in P6. And Powell will finish in P7, Choke P8, Neb in P9, White Josh in P10 to round off the points. As we now go to 5 red lights, though, I will get the things up on the screen before we go. The lights are off and away we go. And I think Supply probably did get the better start, but Tonio on the medium tyres. Is he going to be able to make anything with that fresher compound? Right off the start, no he isn't. And he is going to try and sit behind. Tano goes for a very big send there and has tapped the Alfa Romeo of Tonio. And that is Tonio sent spinning to the right to the back. And that is going to be a pretty big pen for Tano there, forcing Tonio around there. Reese being able to make up into P4 there with that spin. Techebi being able to promote himself into the podium positions. That was a dream start for the two Haas drivers, though. An unfortunate error there from Tano has sent Tonio spinning right to the back of the grid. And Haas are in a 1-2 right now. Few moves being made there. We have about 5 drivers trying to make a move here. Raven and Karakimo trying to go side by side through Cops. And that was a lovely move by Raven around the outside. And he has really found his groove now in this race. And he hasn't DNF'd. I think Cam and Wizzy Boy going side by side there into, into Beckett's that was. So again, another good move from Cam there. Side by side there is Supra and White Josh. Supra down the inside of the Alpine. Supra now up into P10. and Alec just being able to stay in front, as I think they are still going to go side by side. Alec there has had a bit of contact there, and I think two drivers have been sent spinning at the back there. Choke and Raven quite close together there, but White Josh being able to make the move on the Mercedes. Raven will have to settle behind it at the moment, but Raven, what a start he has had from P20 to P11, trying to go around the outside of the Mercedes into Village, and is he going to be able to keep it through the loop into turn 4? The Mercedes, sorry, is still there, and it's going to be side by side down the Wellington straight. Who is going to be the better out of this? Is it going to be Raven? Is it going to be Choke into Brooklands? And they're still going to remain side by side. Fantastic battling between these two drivers. And is Raven going to be able to get the better exit around the outside of Luffield through Woodcut? And he is just going to have to settle behind. But is he going to try and go around the outside of Cops like he did a lap before? No, he doesn't. He's going to have to stay behind for this time around and maybe try and get Choke down the hangar straight. Further down the order, Tonio is going side by side with Supra into Maggots and Beckett's, trying to make up that deficit that he lost from Tanu Spin earlier. And Tonio, I think, is just going to have to slot in behind the Williams and down the hangar straight. Is he going to be able to make a move? He goes to the inside. That AlphaTauri is going to follow him. Into Stowe we go. Tonio, what a move that was down the inside. Mighty King being able to make up the position as well. As we do see the two Hasses going side by side. Jay Snowy being able to get past. Techaby is lurking in the background there. Is Techaby going to try one down the inside? He did look for it momentarily, but then backed out. Is he going to try and make a move, though, down the Wellington straight? He has pulled to the inside, but isn't able to. Mighty King being able to get that DRS. Oh, and he is going to have a look down the inside of Luffield. Mighty King getting the power down really early, and he just absolutely sends it down the inside. And now Mighty King and Wizzy Boy going to go side by side through Cops. The remote Banjo, very brave he was to send it down the inside, and is able to keep Wizzy Boy behind him. Tonio is still trying to keep with Raven, as Raven is trying to defend for all of his life against Tonio. Raven knows he's quicker, but on those mediums will die out, and Tonio's going to try one down the inside. Raven being able to go around the outside and retain his position, but Tonio with the switchback, is he going to be able to get it? We're going to ride on board with Tonio, and you can see there is that Ferrari in front of him. Raven breaks the toe to the inside, then moves back to the outside for the racing line. Antonio is still going to try and be there. Antonio is going to try and hold this around the outside. Raven has been forced to go a bit wide, but Tonio isn't able to make the slipstream, or make the switchback, sorry. And now going into Cop's corner, is Tonio going to try and send one down the inside? He had a brief look, but then decided to back out. Raven and Tonio still going side by side. Tonio now with a better switchback down the inside, and is he going to be able to get it? Both of them have DRS. And he is going to look down the inside. Is Tonio a bit of wheel banging? And Raven has been forced to go quite wide. Go off the track as well. Antonio has got past. As Supply has been able to get past their own teammate. Techaby is going to look down the inside of Jay Snowy as well, but isn't able to. The two Hash drivers trying to go side by side there, but Jay Snowy just has to settle behind. Techaby now is getting very closer. He's burning the battery. He's got the DRS, and he is going to go down the inside. And he does have a wheel there. Is he going to be able to get past Jay Snowy down the inside? And they are still going to go side by side momentarily. And Techaby does get the place finally now on Jay Snowy. And he has now broken the Haas wall. Next up on his list is Supply. Techaby now is closing in on Supply rapidly. Look at that. And as soon as I go onto the TV pod, he is already passed. So now Techaby will take the lead of the British Grand Prix and dives into the pits. Supply retakes the lead. He led for a straight, and Supply is already back into the lead. Fantastic. Now, where is he going to come out? Does Tonio come back into the pits? No, Tonio is being swallowed by some drivers. I don't even know what's happening. Tonio is in the lead, and now he's in P5. Reese has got P1. Tano in P2. What has happened to Tonio? Oh, as we see Jay Snowy sending one down the inside of Neb there. Still going to go around the outside of the loop. And is that Neb round? Oh, I thought Neb was probably tapped around there, but Jay Snowy able to get the move done. And Neb moving to the inside to let Pow through there on those soft tyres. So Neb playing a good team game there, but Tetraby going very wide, which has allowed Supply to just go down the inside. But Tetraby is still going to try and hold this round the inside. And that got a bit close for comfort, but JS Supply being able to stay in front. And I assume we'll be passing Neb in a few corners with relatively ease, to be honest. Jay Snowy going down the inside of Tonio. Although Tonio trying to fight this, they're going to go side by side. Tonio now down the inside once again, but Jay Snowy with the ERS, but Powell there is going to try and follow Tonio. And into Stowe. Tonio moves to the inside to cover him off. A little bit of contact there. Jay Snowy going to try the switchback, but isn't able to. Pow is going to go down the inside of the Haas and down the inside of Tonio as well. And the Aston has probably just outdone both of them. And he's still going to go side by side with Jay Snowy, so he hasn't cleared them both. And he's still going to go side by side down the Hamilton straight. Tonio right in front there, blocking off the Haas. And Pow around the outside gets the double overtake. Pow now into P4 and Jay Snowy into P5 as well. But Tonio is still going to try and fight this and will then eventually have to back out. But he's still going to be there. Tetraby and Zalagi going side by side as well as we go through Aintree and now down the Wellington straight. Tonio is still going to try and fight this on the Haas down the inside of Brooklands, and he is just going to be able to get the move. But Jay Snowy has the outside, the better grip around Luffield. Is he going to be able to make it stick? And they are still going to go side by side. Tonio pushing him as much as he can. And now through Woodcut, Tetraby is also on course to try and get past this Haas. They're going to go side by side through Cop's Corner. Side by side. And he just is able to get it moved very cleanly. Tetraby and Jay Snowy still going side by side as we go into Mackett and Beckett's. Jay Snowy is still trying to fight this. A little bit of contact with the McLaren and through Chapel. It is still going to be side by side. This is fantastic racing between these two drivers. Zalagi there on the inside. Tetraby down the inside of Tonio. Tetraby will take P5, but Zalagi with the switchback being able to stay in P5, and that's really helping out Tonio. Tonio still going to go side by side with the McLaren through Vale and Club, and who is going to be better out of this? As they are still going to remain side by side. Tonio forcing Tetraby off there. Probably going to be a penalty coming his way, but kind of pushing Snowy off the track there, and Tetraby able to take P7 or P6, sorry. Tonio trying to now fight with Jay Snowy. Jay Snowy will have the inside and probably the better traction going into the Wellington straight. And let's see the straight line speed that Snowy has. I think Snowy didn't really have the best of exits, and he is going to have to try and stay behind for a lap or so. Pow now the leader of these soft tyre runners. Supply now... oh, wait, Supply's retired! What happened to Supply? I didn't even see that. I didn't even see what happened as well. Wait, White Josh has retired, and that is a safety car. And he has crashed on the exit of Club onto the Hamilton straight. And we will have a safety car. So Tano in, Reese in, Pow in, Alec in, Zalagi in, Tetraby in, Wizzy is in, Jay Snowy in, Choke, I imagine, in as well. Tonio, I assume, is going to be coming in. Banjo and Raven in for both of them. Cam, I assume he's coming in as well. Yes, he is. Neb, I assume, will be coming in as well. So will Mighty King. It's going to be a question of when is Reese going to be... when is he going to decide to go? Mighty King has caught up to the back. And I think Reese is already gone. I think he'd gone before the final corner. And has that caught Tano napping a little bit? I think it has. As we now get restarted on lap 25, Tano is going to try and chase down Reese as quick as he can. And Tano has burned a bit of the battery. And is he going to look to try and make a move going into Village? He is going to send one down the inside. Is Tano. What a move. Forces Reese off a little bit. Reese reclaims P1 though, but Tano with the switchback, and Tano reclaims the lead of the race. Reese has to settle for P2, and down the Wellington straight we go, as there's a few more drivers going side by side there. Reese is going to try and go around the outside of Tano. Tano has to go a little bit deep, and that's going to give Reese the outside line going into Luffield. Isn't able to get it. Powell might even try and make an amends of this as well, as he looks to make a move on the AlphaTauri as well. Tano is still leading. Tano is finding some absolute mad pace on those soft tires right now. Reese is trying everything he can to try and get past. He isn't going to be able though to make the move going into the loop, but down into Brooklands. Is he going to be able to make the move? And he is going to stick a wheel down the outside, and he has to go a bit wide. He's going to get the switch back to get the better traction around the outside of Luffield. Goes really deep, but then we'll get the traction. And is he going to be able to make a move on Tano going into Copse Corner? He is much quicker than that Ferrari, and he's going to put a wheel down the outside going into Copse Corner. Side by side we go on the final lap, and Reese has to go off track. And is he going to be able to get the move done as we go into Stowe on this final lap? He's going to have to try and burn everything he does, and he doesn't have the ERS advantage that Tano does, but he won't even get that DRS either. It's only slipstream and battery he will get. Is he going to be able to make a move going into Stowe? Tano defends it nicely. Reese tries a move around the outside, going to try and get the switch back, but he isn't able to. And is he going to try to send down the inside? He is. Tano leaves him the space, and it's going to be side by side. There's a bit of contact, and Tano has gone off track in doing so, but isn't being able to reclaim in P1, and it's going to be side by side across the line. Tano just gets the win there of the British Grand Prix. Reese tried his best efforts, but only has to settle for P2. Pow, P3. That gap between P1 and P3 was less than a tenth of a second. What a close finish that was. That was so close. Zalagi then will finish in P4 with Techabi in P5. Tonio will take P6. And I think that's been a pretty good recovery drive considering he was at the back at the end of the first lap. Jay Snowy will take P7 with Wizzy Boy in P8. Choke then will finish in P9 with Alec P10. Remote Banjo in P11. Neb in P12. Raven will finish in P13 with Cam in P14. Mighty King P15. The funnel finishers. White Josh then is the first DNFer. Supply P17. Supra P18. Matthew P19. And Karakimo P20.